Good morning. We are at Craters of the Moon National Monument here in Idaho, the southern part of Idaho.
This looks like
southeast.
This
right?
looks like this is going to be one of the most unique parks we've ever been to. So.
Yeah, it's really strange all around, and we're not even into the park yet. So let's go find out what we can see.
So we've stopped off here really quickly at the visitor center just to kind of get an idea about what to do and the map. So we were under the impression that Herky could go on some of the paved trails, and they're telling us that's not the case. So we're not going to be able to do that. But the visitor center's open here. They had very limited information. A lot of things are closed, and that I'm not quite sure what the story was. That in fact, the outside is set up for the rangers to talk to people. So let's run inside and look really quick. But there is a few things open.
This is one of the parks that they won't let you have your dog on the trail, but in this case right now it's probably really good that he can't, because he has a hurt foot right now, and so we're babying it so it gets better quicker. So anyway, we're going to drive through here. It's kind of ugly, but anyway, different. I don't know. Take a look.
This is one of the most iconic or most popular trails here at Craters of the Moon. It's called the Inferno Cone Overlook. It's just basically it's not a major trail, but it is uphill quite a ways. This old man's gonna hoof it up there and take you up there, because you know I got to do it for the channel. Herky and Nancy are gonna stay back here because Herky's not allowed, but they're gonna take a picture of me when I get to the top. So all right, let's get hoofing up there. I've reached the summit. So when you get up here, it's kind of flat on top, and you can just see for miles. Yeah, I'm a little winded. What did I say the elevation was? Like 6,500 feet, something like that. So a little winded from elevation, but wow, look around. Beautiful. So looks like a little bit further up here might be the crater, so we're gonna walk over there and see that. But it reminds me of Arizona and Costa Rica. So probably October, November of this year, I'm gonna hike Arizona again, and this time I'll have my camera and we'll video that for you guys. But next time when I go to Costa Rica this fall. But yeah, take a look around and enjoy this, and let's walk over to the crater. Well, I guess it's somewhat of a mistake on my part. I thought I'd walk a little bit farther and there'd be like a big crater or whatever like you typically see. And, you know, the sign down there had a picture of a volcano, and I mistakenly thought, oh, there'll be like a center and everything. Yeah, I'm not finding it if it's up here. So that part would not be like Arizona. So I'm missing that, but you know, it's still a great walk nonetheless. It's kind of flat up here on top. I'm walking around looking at some different things. A couple people asked me to take their picture, so I did that. That was fun. People from all over the world here. It's amazing. The United States, and then met some people from China and some people from Korea. So pretty fun meeting different people. That's one of the things I like about travel, is you meet people from all walks of life and different viewpoints. All just people like us, just different skin colors, that's all. A lot of fun. All right, I'm gonna rest a minute and then start the hike back down. All right, here we go, the descent down. I don't know, way off over there you can see the Astro van with the red cans on top. Right now those red cans are empty. We don't have any gas in them, but just because we don't want it to evaporate with the heat. And so when we get to places that it's going to be long distances between gas stations, I fill it up. But alrighty, here we go. Let's walk down. You know, in some ways when you got old knees, the walk down is harder than the walk up. Although you're not as winded, you gotta be careful. The ground is loose. The soil is loose from the volcanic ash here, but it's not slippery, so shouldn't be any problems. But we're gonna keep hoofing down. Hey, look here real quick. This is where I was just at. This is the back side of the dome. So I got in the car and took the road along here. You can see the people walking up the trail. So take a look.
This has to be the most different park, unusual, that we have ever been to. But we still enjoyed it.
We've had a good time walking around Craters of the Moon.
About a 4-hour day here.
Yeah, I would say that if you spend a half a day here, that would be good. Good. There's a campground there. I don't think you can make reservations, but first come, first serve. Yeah. So we're over at the KOA.
We had our lunch here.
So, alrighty, there's more to explore in the area, so we're going to take a look at that.
We're gonna keep going.
All right, we've got some plans to go into town here. From what I understand, is this was the first town to be powered by nuclear power. So we're interested to take a look at the history of the area, and there's also some neat driving trails. So we're going to take a look around.
When we were coming into Arco, Idaho, we saw all these numbers on this hill behind me. And, you know, we're trying to figure out what it is. Like, are they people's football numbers, baseball numbers? But no. In 1920, the graduating class decided to put their number 20 up on the hill because it was 1920 and they were graduating. And it would serve as a memory, and they would always see it here in town and remember their wonderful high school days. Well, since then, they've all started doing it. And I think it's a really cool tradition. So they even have a pamphlet here in town all about the Numbers Hill. There you go.
So we found this really cool, we drove over to McKay, which is another town over, not too far from Arco. We found this really cool mine trail where you can go, it's almost like off-roading, but they say that our all-wheel drive van's just fine for it. And along the way they got these little stops and you can look at different mining stuff. It's all kind of like a self-guided tour. Here we are at the Hard Rock Mining exhibit, and it's open. I think we're just gonna go in here and take a look. Oh wow, very cool. So this was a mining smelter, and they've just got a self-guided mine tour here. So as you drive down the trail, different spots. This is stop number 1. So I thought, oh, stop in here and take a look at this really quick. But they've got some old mining tools here. There's a windlass. And here's some different pumps that they've got on display. Pretty neat, pretty interesting. So we're gonna stop here, and this is in the old smelter building. We're gonna stop here and take a look, but very, very cool. The second stop here, we're traveling up the hill here, and this is really cool. They said that the hill in front of us, you're going to see it here in a second, has over 20 miles of underground tunnels inside of it.
That's crazy, right?
And it says the Empire Copper Company and the White Knob Copper Company got their start here mining copper out of this hill. So there's still some mining going on here today. So got a sign here that says watch for trucks on the highway. So
and the place we're in is not very big. This whole county has 5,000 people.
Yeah.
But they've got everything set up really good. Like, they have brochures for everything. Like, this is what we're doing now, and I already showed you the one for the numbers on the hill. But they have other ones too, and there's a lot to do and see in this area.
So we're gonna head up the hill here, and as we go up, you can still see the derricks for the overhead tramway where they haul the buckets down are still there.
Those wood things are? Okay.
So all right, let's get up the road. Stop number 3 is the White Knob Mining historic site. This is amazing, and that, you know, most places they got all this stuff barricaded off. You can walk right up here. Let's walk up here and take a look at it. Look at this. Isn't this cool? So we're gonna hike up in here just a second, see what we can see. So this is the White Knob Mine. They have signs here that say stay out of the tunnels, so we'll probably do that. But if you walk up here, you can see you got the old buildings. And then, oh, let me stop here and show you. Look down below. Pretty cool, huh? So this is says a sign there says this was the processing plant that was here. So Kamisak Tunnel. The tunnel is the longest and lowest elevation penetration in the mountain. Construction on the tunnel started in 1902 to reach ore zones extending down from above. Excavation material was moved by ore carts pulled by mules. Wow. So still got all this stuff. But there's a squirrel in there. Scared me for a minute. But they got an iron bar there. But man, you can feel the cool air coming out of that thing. Pretty cool. Imagine the miners pulling ore carts out of there, taking it in here for processing. Excellent. So we stopped here on the hill because up here you can see other mines. So we are on the green trail.
Did they call those shafts?
Yeah, mine shafts. So we're on the green trail, and this is has accessible to. It's pretty rough, but it's,
I don't know how he finds these roads, but he does. The Astro van has brought out the wickedness in Edward.
So we are on a green trail right now. The next trail that we can take is the blue trail. So as you see, we got this map here. The blue trail, it says can't take cars on, but is accessible to high clearance vehicles, and that's us. And then they have the red trails that are only ATVs, and we're not going to be able to take those.
Thank God.
But I'm hoping that the blue trail leads up there. I'm going to pass the camera over to Nancy and let her pan.
Good morning. I do believe this sign behind us says exactly what we are about to do today.
We've spent the past few days in Idaho, Idaho, and on our way out of town, we just wanted to stop by and see this place. All right, what we've decided to do here is Nancy's with me. We decided to take the tour. They have 3 different options. They have an app option where you can scan QR codes at the different stations. You can also use a pamphlet and walk through and just self-guide and read things. But they also, free of charge, have
Ed's favorite word.
A guide service.
So guess which one we're doing?
So we're doing the free of charge one. Yeah.
Of course we are.
So anyway, so we're just sitting here waiting. They said in about 10 minutes somebody's going to show up here and give us a guided tour of the reactor and everything. So we're sitting here waiting, and we'll catch up with you when the guy gets here.
Scientists here, the engineers weren't maybe the most excitable type. I guess there's an engineer type, and if you understand the stereotype, there's a reason for it. When they first generated the electricity, they didn't really hoot, holler, clap, do anything like that. They just kind of checked off the box and went on to the next step. And then the next day, when they connected the building to the electricity, that's when they stopped and wanted to memorialize the occasion. So they, in 2 stops, we'll see where they wrote on the wall with chalk a memorial. So I think the engineer's equivalent of a celebration would be this neon sign on the wall over here, because it's using science to sort of commemorate things and to be excitable. We currently don't generate electricity at the Idaho National Laboratory. We haven't since 1995. But they put this sign up on the wall when they started generating their own electricity. Back then we were a part of Argonne National Laboratory. Now,
okay, this is the actual control room for the reactor. This isn't a mock-up. This is what would have been used during the day. And if you push this button right here, reactor shut down. You could actually shut down the reactor here. Yeah, this is really work. The other way they had, if the button failed, is up here in the ceiling, right up here, there's a ring in the ceiling, and it was on a chain, and you could pull it and shut the reactor down too. So pretty interesting.
Powered by atomic energy, but it's from the borax reactor. They didn't keep that reactor. I guess it'd be kind of cool to have museum after museum right next to each other. But and then the zipper, we have the ZPR downstairs. It's located in a different building. These are stuff. You'll follow me over here.
Nancy is just hanging on every word. nuclear reactor, and she knows everything about it now.
No, I was going to ask if I could go to the van, but I guess I could stick it out.
So when you step up on top here and look through the window, you can see the top of the reactor vessel. Now, to get a better idea of what the vessel looks like, there is a photo of it in this large display case on the top right. That's when they inserted it into the housing. Now, it looks a little different in that photo where they're standing. That's because they're standing down here. They had to remove the top disc that you guys are standing on and an even larger disc that is down below. They did that with the crane. They moved them up off main principle they wanted to prove here, so that's why this turbine and generator are quite small. Back in the 50s and even to this day, we use turbines and generators like this, but much larger. I think at the Hoover Dam, they're like the size of this space right here, or some power plants have them the size of this room, which is quite large. So essentially, a turbine is a fan. You can imagine, maybe like a pinwheel that you could blow on and it will spin. This uses steam to spin the turbine or the fan blades. That connects to the generator here, which generates electricity. Now, a generator essentially is a magnet that's spun. It's a round, copper surrounds it, and that's how it generates the electricity. So on December 20th, 1951, they strung up 4 200-watt light bulbs right on the spot to make sure that when they connected the generator, it was actually producing some electricity. And the second day, when they connected it to the building, they decided they wanted to, once the building was lit up with the electricity, they decided to put this inscription on the wall. It was done in chalk. The few names on there are notable. The top left one is W.H. Zinn. That's the director, Dr. Walter Zinn. He was the one who directed Reed Cameron, the fourth name down on the left, to write it on the wall. We presume it's because he had the best handwriting out of the bunch. And he wrote, electricity was first generated here from atomic energy on December 20th, 1951. On December 21st, 1951, all of the electrical power in the building was supplied from atomic energy. Now, they just had the technical workers at the time sign the wall. They did not allow the women. They make me feel like Frankenstein when I was in the laboratory. Yes, exactly. So this is the heat exchange system, the second heat exchanger. On the left side of the room, you can see the pipes that go horizontally. The skinny pipe that comes out the side, goes down and goes back in, is the third loop of water. The thick part that connects the two is the second loop, and that's where the heat is exchanged. The coolant heats up to about 600 degrees right at the reactor, and when it gets to this point, super boiling water, it's at 550 degrees Fahrenheit. It's superheated. The boiling water is piped to the right where it expands into steam on the horizontal pipes. Sorry. Vertical, thank you. As I said that, I was like, oh, that's okay. That's then piped over to the turbine and generator, turning the turbine, generating electricity. And then the water then condenses down in this big pipe and goes back through the loop again. Now they cut a hole. Originally there was not a hole in the shielding when it was in operation. It would have been highly radioactive on the inside there. When they decontaminated the facility in 1973 for museum use, that's when they cut the hole in the wall so we can see on the inside.
This vault right here was the security where they stored the fuel rods in here, and it's actually got a, just a regular door on it, like a bank vault would, to store the fuel rods, to keep people from stealing them or whatever. Although there was high security on that perimeter. And then over here on the floor is where they could lower the spent rods and let them cool down there in those plugs in the floor, and then slowly move it over to where they would eventually be able to handle the rods here in this thing here with these mechanical arms.
With regards to the refraction of light, they had to put mineral oil in between the panes of glass so the light would refract. Yeah. That's how we're able to see through. Without the mineral oil, you can see right here where this window's leaked out the mineral oil, you can't see through. Now they sandwiched together 34 panes because they didn't have the manufacturing capabilities in the 50s to make thick blocks. So this is actually 39 inches. Wow. Is it?
See how it looks like it's by the green beaker?
Yes.
but it's not nearly that thick. So I bet that's twice. Must be twice.
Well, it's 34 inches of leaded glass, and each pane is over an inch. So it should be 39 inches, which is about that.
Well, I was just saying, it's
But
weird that the dot looks like it's on the table.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
right.
really
That's just because
cool.
the light is
Yeah.
refracted.
I get it.
Or bent, I guess.
Yeah.
And so what's reflecting, it looks like it's hitting the table. It's actually reflecting off of this right here.
Here, then I'm gonna do.
No. Oh, sorry.
Hey, we're down here in the basement of the reactor, and hey, we failed to mention that this is pet friendly here, so they let you bring your dogs in there. So Herky is learning everything he can about nuclear fusion. Come on, let's go upstairs. Come on, Herky. Come on.
Okay, that's finally over. Towards the end, we did find out that dogs could come in, so I went out and got Herky out of the van.
Yeah, Herky knows. He's an expert in nuclear fusion now. So.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Like his mother.
He learned everything. Hey, we hope that you enjoyed a time here around Arco and this area here in Idaho. We've had
And
a really
McKay.
good and McKay, yeah.
Yeah, our
took the
dirt
road out there.
roads.
We've really enjoyed this area. We had a good time. So this brings our video to an end. We appreciate everybody that watches us every Sunday, and send us a comment if you like the video, and we appreciate that. For now, we're going to get back on the road, and we are not quite sure where we're headed, but you'll find out when we do.